One love to the humble, one love to the humble, one love to the humble. Welcome to my channel, The Humble Truth, where we share some things good and some things bad. But either way you turn it, it's going to be the truth. You can reach me at thehumbletruth@gmail.com. That's thehumbletruth@gmail.com. And if you like what you see, feel free, if you would like to support the channel, you can support the channel at The Humble Truth on Cash App. You can support the channel at The Humble Truth on Cash App. Feel no obligation, feel no need. But if you feel like you enjoy what you see and you just want to be supportive of what's going on here, feel free to support us at The Humble Truth on Cash App. Meantime, sit back and relax and get ready for this video. Follow me. Hey, hello, how y'all doing? How y'all doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm glad you could be here. Glad you could be here with me. I'm gonna go over some things with you, and it's just something that we need to talk about because it's kind of like misconstrued, and we get our evidence all wrong. Well, not evidence, but we get our information all wrong and messed up, and we share this information as if it's true sometimes because we don't really know what's really going on. We listen to a lot of TV, we listen to a lot of media, we listen to a lot of social media, and a lot of times that information is not 100% correct. It's usually based around whatever that person's agenda is and what they're going to talk about and what they want you to know. We all know that watching the news can be very, very misleading and deceiving. Have a helicopter flying overhead. It can be very misleading and deceiving. And sometimes we need an eye opener so we can see what's really going on so we don't stay confused. So what I did was I took down some notes, and I want to share these notes with you. I'm going to share the source. You can go back and check it out yourself, or you can just look up your own information, but this information is pretty widely spread. So, we always talk about, in our community, in the black community, we always talking about racism. We always talking about white supremacy. We always talking about people getting unalived by the police and things like that. And we make a big deal out of it. Now, if something's really going on a massive scale and it's really harming the people, then I don't believe that it should be done. But a lot of times we get things mixed up. The things that we should be outraged about, we're not. We get outraged about what the media tell us to get outraged about. They tell us how we should feel about certain things, and they let us know that certain things we shouldn't worry about. And we being the way we are, we're not going to research anything. We're not going to look it up. We're not going to try to verify it. We just going to take it for what it is, because for whatever reason, it's like we just want to be upset. We want to be mad. We don't want to know the truth. Well, I'm here to tell you the truth. I'm here to show you the information. It's up to you what you do with it afterwards, but it's on you. But you got to be exhausted with the lies, and you got to be exhausted with always blaming somebody else. You got to be exhausted with this by now. If you're not exhausted with it, I don't know what's wrong with you. But let me go ahead and share this right here. Now, this came from the Violence Policy Center. Violence Policy Center. According to the Violence Policy Center, in 2022, there were 13,446 black unalived victims. I'm going to read that one more time because I don't think you heard me. In 2022, there were 13,446 black unalived victims. Black unalived victims was 13,446. That will equal out to be 29 per 100,000. That's 29 per 100,000. And remember, we're only 13% of the population. Now you think about that number right there. That's a big number, considering that we only 13.6% of the population. And then I think it's like 6% of us is male, and then like 7% is like female. So 6% is male. Now this number is total. This includes male and female. But of course, the male unalived rate is much higher than the female, right? We already know that. Now, when it comes to in 2022, there were 10,158 white unalived victims. There were 436 American Indian, and then there were 379 Asian. And for white, that is 4.2 per 100,000. So they only have 4.2 per 100,000. We got 29 per 100,000. Now they got a bigger population than it is us. We're at 13% of the population. I think they're around, I'm not gonna guess the number, but I believe it's a high number. It's way higher than 13%. I believe they're around at 40, possibly 50%. Now you look at them numbers, right? It's more of them in the United States than us, like by a long shot. It's way more of them than black people in the United States. But yet they got, look, 4.2 per 100,000. But we had 13,446. They had 10,158. Now that math don't math. If you're looking at how many of us is in the United States, that number should be way lower. Considering how many of us, since we're only 13% of the population, that number should be way smaller than that. That number should be like under 5,000. That's what it should be at. They had 10,000 with 4.2. Here we are at 29 per 100,000. So per 100,000 of us, 29 is getting unalive. That's a crazy number, and we're doing this every year. Every year this is happening. Every year. If you tell me that ain't some crazy numbers, I don't know what else to tell you. Now the ones that's done by firearms is 11,750 for black people, and then it's 7,073, I believe, 73 for white. So we out here shooting guns like it ain't no tomorrow, and we know this to be true because we see it on the news. Well, they don't really cover it on the news, but you hear about it on social media, on TikTok, Facebook. Somebody else got shot, or gang shootings, or drive-by. You hear about it all the time because I mean we are having a good time out here, blasting each other. This is what we're doing to each other, but yet the complaint is we are complaining about something totally different that doesn't even have any weight, that doesn't carry any weight, the things that we're complaining about. Think about what we complain about every day, and then you go back and look at these numbers. Look at these numbers I just gave you, and then you go and think about the things that we're complaining about. This is us doing this now. This is us doing this to each other. Okay, in case you didn't know, I'm going to jump down here. And it says the majority of black unalived victims were done with firearms are 11,750, right? Out of 13,446, which is 87%. And then 76% of black victims, 3,202 out of 4,184 were unalived by someone that they know. It was by somebody that they knew. Think about that. This is us doing this now. And then like another, it was like 982 were by strangers. But that's a crazy number, man. 11,000 was done by somebody that they know. So the other person they know, you know what it is, right? It's another person that look like them. That's what it is. That's who's doing this. And then they try to blame it on what was that thing that people used to say? They used to say something like proximity. It was a proximity thing. But that don't make no sense. Because if it was proximity thing, then if it was a proximity thing, I seen something in the camera, like right here, like over there, going by. I just looked over there. Anyway, if it was proximity, then that means that everybody else should have the same kind of numbers going on. But that ain't what's happening. So it's not just simply about being in the same proximity. It's something else going on that's causing this to happen. Because look, white people killing 4.2 per 100,000. And they live in the proximity of each other. And they're not nowhere near the numbers we putting out. So why is it that our numbers are higher and we're a smaller population. That means we got another issue going on inside of here. And you can't blame it on nobody else, because we're the ones doing it. We love to put the blame on somebody else, therefore the problem never get fixed. We keep blaming other people for the problem, when the only people that can fix the problem is the people right there that's in the problem, or the people that's causing the problem. Got to be dealt with effectively. That's the only way you're gonna fix the problem. Because you keep saying these people are the problem when they don't even know, they don't got nothing to do with it. So how they gonna come in here and say they're gonna fix something that they don't first have anything to do with? They don't have nothing to do with this. They just do this to us. We do it to ourselves. But we blame others, so we don't have to take accountability for it. So that way nobody's gonna step up and say, well, we'll fix it. No, ain't nobody gonna fix it. Nobody's gonna fix this. At this point, I don't believe it. Of the 13,446 black unalived victims, 11,528, which is 85%, were male, and 1,918, which is 14.3%, were female. The black unalived victims were more than 4 times the overall rate for male unalived victims, 50.5 per 100,000, compared to 12.3 per 100,000, more than 8 times the rates for white male unalived victims. We out here doing this thing at a rate more than 8 times higher than the white male victims. We out here acting a fool. I mean, we out here acting a straight fool. And nobody's saying nothing about it. Everybody's acting like it ain't nothing. It ain't no big deal. But we get one police unaliving and everybody go crazy. Everybody go crazy for one police unaliving. But these numbers right here should be the ones that's got you going crazy. These numbers. But nobody's talking about these numbers. These are some astounding numbers right here. This is ridiculous, man. How much unaliving is going on in our community, and everybody's cool with it. But you get 5 unalivings by the police, and it's like people have a mental breakdown. Explain that to me. Somebody got to make that make sense to me, because it makes no sense. How is that possible? That this could be going on this high rate, and it's like hush hush. But as soon as the police do something, it's like everybody go berserk. Because you know why? Because the media said so. Their favorite politician said, you should be mad about this thing. Don't worry about that over there. That's somebody. Somebody did that. That's somebody else doing that to you. You didn't. It ain't your fault. It ain't your fault. See, because you know they victims, right? It ain't your fault. It's their fault. It's somebody else's fault why this is happening to you. Single parent homes, angry kids, angry young black males, no father around. They mad about everything, and they ready to just, what they say, crash out. They ready to crash out. Among all black unalived victims in 2022, 1,348 were under the age of 18. 3,271 were ages 18 to 24. 364 were 65 and older in 2022. Under the age of 18, 1,348 under the age of 18. That's a crazy number, considering that the black community goes off when there's 2 or 1 unalived victims by the police in a year. Black people will protest, tear up the city for a year. Here you got 1,348 that were under the age of 18. And I ain't never seen nobody protest, get on the news, BLM. I ain't seen nobody say nothing about that. You get a George Floyd situation and everybody go crazy. Everybody hitting the streets in all cities across the whole United States. And that guy wasn't even worth 2 cents, you ask me. Here we go, got 1,348 that were under the age of 18, and ain't nobody saying a word. Ain't nobody doing nothing. Nobody's even trying. I ain't even know these numbers was like this. I went and did my own research. Just light research, not nothing heavy and deep. It's a light research. 3,271 were ages 18 to 24. That's the next generation. 3,271 were 18 to 24. And these probably preventable situations. Somebody said, well, that ain't a lot. It is a lot. If you would go off and lose your mind over one person getting unalived by the cops, and you think 3,000 ain't a lot, that one person seems to be a lot for most people when the police do it. And it's probably just more justifiable when the police do it than when these people out here having this happen to them in the streets. The police situation is probably more justifiable than any one of these things that I got on this piece of paper. Any one of these unalivers on this paper, I bet you there ain't no way they can justify it. I bet you, but hey, it's not justifiable. 364 were 65 and older. I don't know what a 65-year-old doing. Maybe they having maybe that was like a situation where probably wasn't nothing illegal activity going on in most of those situations. Probably something very, very different. But I know that 18 and 24 was probably some street stuff, probably some girl, probably over some money, probably over something like that. Something silly. But nobody is hitting the streets behind this. But there's mothers, fathers, uncles, aunts, somewhere crying because they lost a person. But if somebody who would be considered a menace to society can get unalived by the police, and everybody is running to their family's aid, giving them money, support, and all kind of things. We are living backwards, man. You can't tell me we're not living backwards. We're supporting all the wrong people. These are the people that should be found and supported and given some support. Losing their children in the streets to street life. Not somebody who got unalived for trying to fight the police or being uncooperative and being just completely out of their minds when all they gotta do is just cooperate and go through the motions and be on your merry way. But that ain't the case. But these kids right here, these little kids under 18 to 24, what about their parents? What about going to their community, talking to them? What about protesting against all of this stuff? But no, that don't make sense though. Do it? It don't make sense to go protest that. It's better off we go after them people right there for doing their job. How about we do that? We living backwards. I mean, we got it all wrong. We got it all wrong. And these numbers I gave you, this was 2022. What do you think it is in 2024? You think it's any better? I'm sure at the end of the year, I'm going to get them stats and I'm going to find out. But I don't think it's going to get no better. I think it's going to be worse. You telling me in 2022, 13,446 black unalived victims in the United States, there's 29 per 100,000. And it's already known that most of the violent crimes in this country are committed by 50% of all violent crimes are committed by black people. 50%, and we're only 13% of the population. If you tell me that ain't crazy numbers, I don't know what you want. I don't know what you want. If you can't see it right in your face, and you got all these people telling you that it's okay, that we doing just fine, that it's somebody else blaming on white people. It's stupid at this point. If you still falling for that crap at this point in 2024, I don't know what to say to you, man. You can't be living in reality if you think that somehow it's still their problem. And it's no way you can believe that after going and looking up the numbers for yourself. Looking at what's really going on, and you still can say that after you look up the numbers, then you delusional, man. Something's got to be wrong with you if you go through all of this paperwork and all these numbers, and you see it for yourself, and you still believe somehow that we're not the problem. That is somehow somebody else's problem. We talking about some from slavery. We like this because of slavery. Listen, man, this is if you believe in this, man, you ain't gonna get your brain checked out. You gotta be something wrong with you. If you still think something is going on in 2024 is because of some damn slavery, you gotta be kidding me, man. Ain't no way you believe that. Man, this stuff is disappointing to me, man. It's really like, it just disappoints me, man. That we are this thrown off as a community, we just can't see it. And I'm showing it to you, man. Here I am showing it to you. It's still gonna be somebody that's gonna try to find a way to deny what I'm saying, to not be true, and still try to find a way to blame it on somebody else. I don't think most black people just want to be fixed. I really don't believe it. I'm starting to believe it more and more. Well, I just present you the facts. Do with it as you will. Y'all take care.